fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. And now, to begin with this series, I'm very used to doing a high intensity and action-packed series with a lot of fights. However, whenever I did a take on Breaking the Ice, where it was a story where there was some fighting, but it was mainly focusing on the characters and the relationships, I did really enjoy doing that. And it actually did help me relax and clear my mind to better focus on other what-ifs. It's like my mind was taking a break and just slowing down. So, I do want to do more of those stories. And Mirako. She is a very, very underrated character in my opinion. Some people like her, some people don't, but she is a very interesting pro hero to me. Because she doesn't have, what's the best way to say it? She's like Hawks. Her quirk isn't too flashy at first glance. However, whenever you get to how the characters do use them, they're very, very powerful. And she's actually a very good example of that, along with even Endeavor with his firepower. And even Best Jeanist, actually. Actually, every pro hero in the top 10 I think have weird quirks, but they make them work because of their unique circumstances. I just now realized that. Anyways, now, with that out of the way, let us begin. We will start with Enko Midoriya, who, she actually does have Deku a bit earlier than the original timeline. Instead of her having Deku at the age of 27, she has Deku at the age of 23. Now, this is quite a bit different. Deku, he actually does get born early. And except for Inko and Hasashi, yeah, he kind of runs away. The idea of him having a kid, that's not really something he did see for himself this early in his life. Sure, he did want to start a family one day, but right now he'd rather run around and be with his friends. And it did actually upset Inko quite a bit. Since the moment she found out she was pregnant, he immediately just skipped town. And she kind of started resenting him for that. Now, Deku, he would have been born, while Inko, she actually did try to find a job at a company. And yeah, she did actually have some friends and her family help with Deku. Inko's parents and Mitsuki, her college roommate, who she became best friends with, they help raise Deku. And it actually does help quite a bit, since she goes to her job, comes home, spends some time with Deku, and she does wake up, go to work, and try to repeat the process. She does want to spend time with Deku as much as possible, but she has a lot to do with college, work, and everything else. She's trying to get enough pay for them to actually live off of, and she's at least still trying to pay off her own college tuition. Now, that was bad. And there is even whenever he did actually start to walk and talk, Inko was very surprised. She found that Deku, he could actually speak a little bit better than regular kids his age. And she wanted to know exactly if this was because of all the social interactions he had with Mitsuki and her parents. However, even her parents talked about how Deku, he really shouldn't be doing this yet. Now, she did actually want to get Deku tested for a quirk, but she had to go to work today, and she did want to at least do it on one of her days off, as Mitsuki actually had offered to take Deku in and get him tested. Now, Mitsuki, she would have done this for Inko, taking Deku in and getting him tested for a quirk, as he does test positive, and the doctors do actually examine Deku further. And they actually do decide to put him through some logic puzzles and even some small riddles, which would be fitting for kids, at least in more advanced age groups. And they actually do find that Deku, he does start to pass through these puzzles. It does take a little bit of time because of his age, but he does figure them out in at least a bit less time than kids around the advanced ages would have. And the doctors, they do want to conclude with more tests that Deku does have a semi, or at least a developing intelligence quirk. And that right now, interacting with the baby as much as possible will be crucial to his development. Now, this actually was very interesting to Mitsuki. Her calling Inko and telling her the news about her son. Now, time would fly by. And we actually over at Deku, whenever he did get older, he actually did start getting fascinated in things about heroes. However, it wasn't about heroes themselves. He found a fascination with the support gear some use. You do actually have the washing machine hero, and even the number 5 samurai hero. He has a lot of support gear. In fact, most of their clothes and things like that, they seem to be these items. And there even was 13, the pro hero who deals in space. He himself, or she I should be saying, her entire suit is made a certain way for her quirk. And Deku has been very fascinated by these things. Now, Deku, he's also very concerned. He's seen the way his mom does act with her job. She's stressed the hell out. And Deku, he does know that. In her time off, she does try to do what she can to spend time with him. But she's just so exhausted. Now, Deku, he does feel really bad for her. She's trying so hard. Now, Deku, he does have a few things he does want to do for his mom. However, he does know that with the way he is right now, no one would ever take him seriously. He's too young. And Deku, he does at least try to make a promise to himself. He's gonna work hard and help give his mom a better life. As we'll cut to years later, where Deku, after using some of his allowance money Inko does give him, and birthday money, he does buy small pieces of kits. And he actually does use parts that he does salvage and find occasionally to try and create some items. Now, Deku, he's working hard, and he's hitting the books as much as possible, getting good grades, and even trying to keep track of what he's trying to make. As Deku, after his high school days, he does actually get an exclusive scholarship from a high prestigious school. And Deku does take it on and even does pick the classes he does specialize in. Now, we actually do cut to Deku after college, where he has shown great strides and even gotten special offers from hero companies. They want to give Deku a bit of a project and see exactly what he can do. Deku, he's being paid at least a lot of money to create something that will blow them away. And if Deku, he does fail to do this, he will have to give the money back. Now, Deku, he's being paid about $5 million to create this object or device they do want to see. And Deku, we actually have where he's using at least, let's say, $50,000 to $100,000 to fund this project. Now, Deku, he's already given some of this money to his mother and talked about how she could just take time off of her job for right now. She never uses her vacation days, and whenever she does get days off, she just spends them doing whatever she can. So he doesn't want her to enjoy her day. He wants her to enjoy and relax. That's really about it. Now, we do currently have Deku, who he's currently actually in a lab and creating things in his college as he's finishing up the project. Now, Deku, yeah, it's been announced that he is creating something for an exclusive company, and that he plans to sell the project, or at least sell the blueprints, to them once he does get things done. Now, Deku is currently in his workshop, and he's finishing up everything as he does have glasses on his face, and headphones blaring music in his ears. Now, Deku, he wouldn't even hear the people who do come walking in, and stand in the doorway. As we actually over at Deku, he does go to set down something and then go to actually turn. Him pushing his leg against the ground, he does fly across the room on a stool. Deku actually grabbing a thermos and going to turn off the cap, as he does drink some from it, and then going to actually screw the cap back on, before reaching his hand over to a bowl of lollipops. As Deku does grab one out, pull the top of it and put it in his mouth, before actually going to turn and kick his way back over. Now, the guys do just stand there confused. He doesn't notice them here? Really? No. We do actually over Deku, he does just continue his projects, and eventually he does go to set down his wrench and go to stand up. As he does go to take the headphones off of his head and go to actually wipe the sweat from his face. Okay. Let's see. Deku actually going to test the project as he does at least jump up, and he's very excited. Yes, it works! It finally works! Oh, finally. What? Who are you? What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. That door was locked. Kid, we've been standing here for about an hour. Are you serious? Yes, we have. Now, are you Izuku Midoriya? Don't use that name. Don't use that man's name on me. That name? Yes. I am Izuku. However, Midoriya, that was my father. I'm not him. Really now. Well, daddy issues aside, we'll be taking that from you. What? No, you can't. Listen, this project is very important. If you steal it from me, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna mess up everything I've worked on. The last years of my life, the last decade of my life, they've led up to this. You can't just take this from me. Yes, we can. Besides, your project will sell for millions on the black market. In fact, probably even $1 billion. No, you can't just do that. I won't let you. Now, they're going to just turn back. Him grabbing a wrench, he's going to actually stand up and stand his ground. Now, the person has just walk forwards as they go to throw up their hand and immediately grab Deku. Now, Deku is covered in black goo, as he's immediately has his hands, well, tied together, basically. The person's stepping forwards and asking Deku if he does at least have the blueprints. Now, Deku's fighting back, and talking about how no, he doesn't. As the guy, he just does look at the project Deku does have. Interesting. Now, the guy does go to look towards the other end of the table, walking over and grabbing the suitcase as he's going to open it and see if this is it. Now, the guy he does actually watches a file just come falling out. And Deku does turn his head telling the guy that that's classified. Now, the guy he does open the file and start to read through it. As he's going to set the file back into the briefcase, walk over and go to pick up his device. Walking back over to the briefcase and setting it down. As he does just look towards Deku. Well, kid, it's been a pleasure doing business with you. However, right now, let's just say goodbye. Now, the guy that does have Deku covered in goo, he does actually going to throw Deku to the left. As Deku does smash right into the wall, and the two do turn and run. Now, we actually have for the two, they do go running and bolting off of the campus. As Deku does go running outside, chasing after them. Him actually holding onto his right shoulder, as he does shout that those villains stole his project. Now, Deku does continue to shout and scream, as he's just yelling for pros. Now, we actually have somebody nearby, who, they are very bored. They have been trying to patrol the area and do anything today. However, it's been nothing. And they're just sitting there grinding their teeth. As they actually hear somebody shouting for help and talking about how villains stole something. Now, our pro hero does immediately bolt into action. Her actually running through the crowd and leaping over tons of people. As it eventually does, she does get to Deku. Her landing and running up to him. You talked about villains? Are you a pro? Yes, I am. Okay, that way. Two villains stole something I was creating. It's worth millions. Please, you have to understand. Okay, calm down. Give me a physical description. Okay, this is what they were wearing. They had these quirks, and they're carrying a briefcase. Metal and about this big. Alright. How far do you think they got? At least half a mile. Alright, kid, I'll see what I can do. Now, Deku just watch the pro hero go leaping through the air. And Deku does hear those words and replay them in his mind. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. And he does just think back to his past. His mom always said those words. And she never actually did anything. She never fulfilled her promise. Now, Deku, he does actually start to get a bit angry at this. The hours wasted. The time wasted. The money. Everything. It's bad. He can't let this happen. Deku turning and running right back into the building. As he does slam open the door to the workshop and start to run over. As Deku does actually go to slip on some prototypes that were the basis for his magnum opus. Now, we actually have where Deku does go running outside and go to do an actual test on them. Now, with that being said, we actually do have where Deku, he does go after the villains. Now, we will actually cut back up to Mirako, who she's currently leaping through the air and on top of buildings, as she's trying to look down and find out where the villains are. Now, we actually have where she does see the villains, and she does watch as they're currently, at least, trying to get away. Now, she does just go to leap down and into action, as she does go to actually smash right through the wall of the villain. Her landing right in front of him, and she's actually going to try and turn and throw it a kick. Now, the man is actually going to bring up the briefcase to try and block. Mirako actually going to stop her leg, as she actually is going to try and throw up her other one. Now, she does smash right into the guy, as she does go to grab the briefcase and actually bring it up and close to her body, asking exactly why did they steal from that guy. Now, she actually just stares at the two, as one of them do actually go to pull out a gun, and inform this lady that she needs to give that back to them, since that is very, very special. Now, Deku, yeah. Mirako, she's just staying there, frozen, trying to find a way out of the situation. She wanted action this morning, and something to happen. But this is not what she expected. Now, we actually do have Deku, who he does come flying in and directly looking at the villain. As Deku is going to bring up his hands and directly smash two metal gauntlets into the man's back. As the man gets sent flying forwards and towards Mirako. Mirako actually going to bring up her right leg and smash the guy right across the face. As we actually have the other guy, Deku does turn and see. As the guy he does start to look at Deku. And as he's going to try to bring up his hands to try and attack Deku once more. As Deku does go to do one thing. He does bring both his hands up and together, as his wrists do lock together and metal can be heard clinging together as a beam does actually fire up into Deku's hand. And Deku does actually go to, as the villain does wrap something around him, shock the villain with an electric charge. Now, the villain does get zapped, and he actually does get sent flying backwards because of this attack. Now, Deku is going to do one thing. As his gauntlets to do unhook, he does actually do something. Him going to bring it up and popping something from the top of the gauntlet. As a metal hook does go shooting out and directly wrapping around the villain. As Deku does turn his wrist and the hook does snap off. And the rest of it does coil around the villain tightly. Now, Mirako, she actually does see that. As she does go walking up to Deku and asking if he's Wait, you're that guy from earlier. Oh, thank you. You don't understand how important that stuff is. Wait, you're a pro hero? Oh no, this. Actually, it's, well, hard to explain. It's a prototype. Prototype? What are you talking about? Oh, it's a long story, but basically, I work as a hero tech. I develop hero tech. And, well, what you have there, it kind of means a lot to me. Really? Oh, you're lucky I didn't kick it then. Now, Deku Hyakusha is going to grab the suitcase from Mirako, and basically pulling it out of her hands as she does stare at Deku, who does go to set it down on the ground and open it, as he does go to pull something out and hold it in his gauntlet. Okay, thank God it's still here. I don't know what I would have done if this was gone or lost or destroyed. This took me so long to make. Now, Mirako, she has been down. What is that? This. Well, it's, a prototype. Of what? Oh, I guess you can't really tell from looking at it. Okay, you know how pro heroes, they have difficulties with losing limbs and occasionally lungs or even organs if they get too hurt? I'm sorry? Okay, let me try to rephrase that. I'm trying to create things that go beyond normal boundaries for humans. In fact, I said I could develop a project that would basically revolutionize artificial limbs. The way people do currently have them and have them built and made, it's very bad. However, Deku's just holding this piece up, talking about how if they do at least slap something on this and then go to paint it a different color, or paint it with something, you wouldn't even tell the difference from an actual limb. Since the way Deku's developed it, he does plan to test it very soon. If he's correct, this can actually mimic touch and feeling almost hot and cold. Huh? Wait, You make it sound like you basically invented an arm. Oh, that's the whole idea. If this project does work, and the amount of time and energy I've developed and put into this does go through, then it's safe to say that I could make a lot of money from it. In fact, the blueprints alone, they're worth about over $200 million. I'm sorry. What did you just say? Oh, it's nothing really. Listen, I really do appreciate you doing this for me. I, don't worry about it. But I'm very confused. You said you're not a pro hero, but that stuff you're wearing, you just took down those two villains pretty easily. What exactly is your quirk? Oh, well, I call it intellect, but it's sort of strange. Oh, okay. Well, I'm happy to have been of service. Now, Miracle is just thinking, this guy's not a pro hero, but he made that stuff? That's pretty impressive. Along with that whole artificial limb thing, that's gotta be something incredible. He's trying to help people even though he's not a hero. That's pretty interesting. Now, Miracle, she is thinking, today was actually pretty interesting. She got to meet this guy and even see what his inventions can do. She is curious now. Would he be able to help her make something for herself, or would he possibly do that for her as a reward? Now, we do actually have where Deku does stare at Mirako, and she's still staring at Deku. Hello? Oh, sorry. I just zoned out quite a bit. Uh, okay, I was trying to ask for your name. Oh, my name. Well, it's Mirako. In fact, well, I'm an up-and-coming pro hero. Really? Yeah. I'm, well, trying to aim for the top. Oh, are you now? That's actually pretty cool. I get what you mean, though. I'm trying to become the best tech supervisor I can be. Or developer. I wish to change the world of my projects and make things better. Really? That's pretty cool. Now, Deguto's gonna hold out his hand. I'm, well, Izuku. Izuku Bakugo. Hmm? Really? That's interesting. Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you. Now, Mirako does actually reach out her hand and shake Deku's. As Deku does actually go to bring his head down and look at the gauntlet. Oh, shit. Sorry, did I hurt you by any chance? No, actually, you didn't. You said your name's Izuku, right? Yeah. I'm curious. Would you be willing to create something for me? Uh, that depends. What are you looking for? Well, I'm very curious. I should leave that up to you. You are very smart, correct? I would like you to understand exactly what the best thing would be for me as a pro hero. I could leave that up to you in your hands, correct? Oh, uh, yeah, sure. Now, Decora's asked Mirako for her phone number. I'm sorry? Well, I need to go over things with you. Look at things up and, well, talk to you more. In fact, I'd say if you have a day off tomorrow, would you want to go out for coffee? Oh, uh, hmm. Well, I don't have tomorrow off. But how about. Hmm. How about next Wednesday? Sure, that would work fine. Now, Mirako does give Deku her phone number. As Deku, he's actually very intrigued by this. This idea to make her some sort of equipment. Let's see, a rabbit quirk. Interesting. What can he make for her that would help? Now, Deku is currently flying through the air as he does have the briefcase in his hands. Him still wondering about exactly what she would actually use or need. As you do actually have Mirako, who she's very intrigued. That guy, he's very dedicated to his work. In fact, it's actually kind of cool how he just rushed in here to try and get what they took from him back. The guy's got guts. She likes that. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.